How do you know I'm not a gangster or used to be a gangster? I've
I
been
mean,
in the
were you?
music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
Something is unraveling inside the House of Carter. And no, it's not just tabloid talk anymore. We're staring down the barrel of a bombshell that could crack the veneer of the Jay-Z and Beyoncé empire. An empire built on silence, strategy, and the illusion of unshakable unity. But now, with the court finally greenlighting a paternity test for Rye Satwaite, the man who claims Jay-Z fathered him when his mother was just 16, there's a crack in the marble. And behind that crack, a labyrinth of secrets that might go far deeper than any of us expected.
Felonies. I'm not crazy or none of that. It's like I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
For over a decade, Satithwaite has been clawing at the gates, begging to be heard legally and emotionally. His claim that Jay-Z, at 22, had relations with his teenage mother, Wanda, in the early 90s. She filed sworn affidavit. There were court documents, roadblocks, sealed records, and years of legal gymnastics. And now, finally, a judge has said what no other court dared. Yes, you may take that test, and we can almost hear the clock ticking. Because if this DNA test confirms what Rim has always believed, the entire Carter narrative could collapse under its own weight, and Beyoncé might be the one holding the wrecking ball.
And we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
While Jay-Z's legal team continues to dodge, duck, and delay, one person has remained shockingly quiet. Beyoncé, not a peep, not a post. No public defense of her husband, no rebuttal of Rye's claim. And in Beyoncé's silence, the whispers have become roars. Is her silence passive or is it calculated? Insiders say it's anything but indifference. According to one longtime associate of Beyoncé's legal circle, she's not just observing, she's preparing. This has been coming for years. They said she's been playing the long game. That long game, by the way, may be arriving in the form of a tell-all memoir that some sources claim could make Lemonade look like a greeting card. From what we've heard, the timing of the release isn't a coincidence. With the media storm swirling around Jay-Z's alleged past, and the Diddy connection dragging him into even murkier waters, Beyoncé may be positioning herself as the ultimate survivor, and her story, finally told on her terms, could be the crowbar that fully splits her from the man who helped make her a global dynasty. But what if he was never meant to stay by her side forever? What if she's been laying the groundwork for an exit all along? Those rumors about her consulting attorneys, they're not rumors anymore. At least two separate legal firms in New York have confirmed off the record that Queen Bee's team has made multiple asset protection inquiries in recent months. She's allegedly had meetings about property transfers, brand shielding, and trust management. That's not normal behavior for someone deeply committed to "till the end do us part." That's chess. And if she's really been this methodical, then Jay-Z may not be just facing a scandal. He may be facing an orchestrated high-gloss takedown by the woman who knows where all the bodies are buried.
Long time. What I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time.
Let's not forget this is the same Beyoncé who watched her sister go full hurricane in that now infamous elevator incident. At the time, we were told it was about family matters or some big disagreement. But what if Solange was the only one willing to say what Beyoncé couldn't? What if that moment was less of a meltdown and more of a warning? Because when we look back at that footage now through the lens of these new developments, it feels a lot more like foreshadowing than chaos. There's also growing speculation that this memoir, if it includes what insiders say it does, will name names and not just the usual vague references. Think specifics. Think timelines. Think receipts, alleged affairs, backroom deals, even financial missteps that were buried under the bedazzled rug of their billion-dollar brand. It's been whispered that the book might revisit the early days of their marriage, the years when Jay-Z's infidelity wasn't just a rumor. It was a constant hum in the background of every red carpet photo. Let's not pretend Becky with the good hair came out of nowhere.
And it's a personal one for me, My mum was adopted. She spent decades trying to find her parents. She ended up with anxiety and depression over it, and
Wow.
it really impacted the whole family. And I know how that.
Some believe Beyoncé has already been subtly rebranding for months, dropping subtle signals that she's preparing to reclaim her own name, her own voice, without Jay-Z attached to the mic. Look at the imagery from her recent Renaissance tour. More solo shots, more mother-daughter moments with Blue Ivy on stage. Less coupledom, less Carter, more Knowles. And now with her memoir supposedly delayed not for edits, but to sync up with the legal chaos surrounding Jay-Z, it's clear that Beyoncé is watching the chessboard and she's waiting for checkmate. The gossip grapevine has been particularly juicy on one specific theory, that Beyoncé's entire memoir delay was deliberate. The initial publishing date quietly pushed back just days after court documents confirmed the paternity test ruling. One entertainment attorney claims the delay was absolutely strategic and meant to maximize narrative control. If that's true, it means Beyoncé could be holding her manuscript like a loaded weapon, waiting to strike as Jay-Z flails to contain a personal scandal that's rapidly becoming a public relations nightmare.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
And that PR nightmare has been compounded by his alleged links to Sean Diddy Combs, currently awaiting federal trial in Brooklyn on charges so dark, we won't even list them all here. But let's just say some of Diddy's ex-associates aren't just whispering about his conduct. They're dragging Jay-Z's name right along with it. Former bodyguard Uncle Ron didn't mince words before his sudden and suspicious passing. He suggested without a hint of irony that Jay-Z might not be as innocent as he looks when it comes to the circles he's kept and the power he's wielded. For now, Beyoncé and Jay-Z are keeping up appearances, but if you look closely, there's distance. No shared statements, no coups posts, no joint appearances since the London film premiere back in November. One close friend says the two are keeping separate calendars and have lawyers on speed dial. Are we watching the slow disintegration of hip-hop royalty? Or is this the most brilliant PR pivot in entertainment history, led by a woman who has mastered the art of silence only to break it when the timing will yield the highest cultural impact and the deepest personal vindication?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding.
And now, with whispers of a secret divorce plan gaining volume, the question isn't whether Beyoncé will walk away, it's when and how. Because if this memoir lands at the height of Jay-Z's legal storm, if it drops while he's entangled in both the paternity claim and the peripheral blowback from Diddy's explosive indictment, then Beyoncé won't just be telling her story. She'll be writing the final chapter of theirs. Or maybe she already has and we're just waiting for the ink to dry. But as the curtain lifts on Jay-Z's mounting scandals, we're forced to turn our gaze to the other half of this power couple, and the picture isn't as clear-cut as it once seemed. Beyoncé's pristine public persona, long upheld by surgically controlled interviews and sanitized appearances, is now under a microscope. And what we're seeing isn't the polished surface, but the shadow beneath it. Because the closer we look, the more it seems that Beyoncé's silence may not just be strategic, it may be complicit.
And that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally.
We've been sold the narrative for years. Beyoncé is the invincible icon, the silent sufferer who turned pain into art, who forgave her husband's betrayal and rose above it. But now, online investigators are dragging up connections that paint a far more complicated and much darker portrait. Beyoncé wasn't just standing next to Jay-Z during his most powerful years. She was standing beside Sean Diddy Combs too, and that's where things take a sharp, unsettling turn. Diddy's current legal troubles are no secret. Multiple civil suits accuse him of orchestrating a sprawling operation of coercion, manipulation, and exploitation across state lines, allegedly spanning decades. It's the kind of scandal that shatters legacies. And yet, Beyoncé, who appeared at his parties, who collaborated within his orbit, whose husband shares deep industry ties with the Bad Boy Records founder, has remained unscathed or maybe just untouched. So far,
Jay-Z, over the course of his career, and I have to still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
Because now people are starting to ask, how much did she really know? Could Beyoncé have ignored the red flags? Or worse, did she see them and look away? After all, her empire is a fortress built on optics, discipline, and silence. And when silence becomes a shield, we have to ask who it's protecting. Theories are surfacing that Beyoncé kept her ties close to Combs not out of friendship, but out of necessity. Preservation, the kind of cold, calculated allegiance that keeps careers bulletproof, even as the truth smolders underneath. And then came the claims from Ron Smith, better known as Uncle Ron, Diddy's former bodyguard, a man with access to inner circles most of us can't even imagine, emerged from the shadows in early 2023. What he alleged sent shockwaves through the online rumor mill. Uncle Ron didn't hold back. He claimed Beyoncé wasn't the victim. Many assumed she was, but part of the very machinery that terrorized the industry alongside her husband and Combs. Yeah, Beyoncé is on substances. She's been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way, he said in one video. The statement was so incendiary, it was quickly pulled, but not before it spread like wildfire.
With respect to the evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress.
What followed was a chilling twist. Uncle Ron returned to social media months later, hinting at deeper knowledge of Biggie Smalls' demise and alleged power plays between Jay-Z and Diddy. Jay-Z and Diddy wanted Biggie gone. He wanted to leave Bad Boy, Ron said. And then barely 24 hours after making those claims, Uncle Ron was gone. A sudden illness, they said, pneumonia officially. But among those who tracked the patterns, it was déjà vu. Too many associates of powerful figures vanishing under natural causes. Too many stories cut short just as they begin to speak freely. That's when the online floodgates truly opened. Suddenly, old interviews were being dissected. Past award shows replayed. Why did so many artists publicly thank Beyoncé for no apparent reason? Was it admiration or quiet compliance? Clips resurfaced of Britney Spears, Adele, and even lesser-known acts offering unsolicited praise to Queen Bee. Some fans call it fandom, others call it fear. One theory gaining traction in online circles speculates that Beyoncé's influence may have grown so untouchable, so all-encompassing that it became impossible to speak against her without consequences. Consequences like vanishing tour budgets, mysteriously dropped albums, or career-stalling blacklist.
No, this part is not alleged. Jay-Z and his team, they have been ducking and dodging taking the DNA test.
We can't ignore the timeline. Every major celebrity scandal involving Diddy seems to eventually orbit back to the same two names, Jay-Z and Beyoncé. And while Jay's connection is well documented, Beyoncé's involvement is murkier, more veiled. The perfect smokescreen. But the thing about smoke is it means there's fire. The whispers go even deeper into dangerous, uncomfortable territory. Some internet sleuths connecting threads from lawsuits, affidavit, and industry deals are floating theories that Beyoncé and Jay-Z may have played silent roles in suppressing rising stars. Alia Lisa Left, Ilips, Michael Jackson, all artists who either challenged the system or were rumored to be on the cusp of exposing it. One conspiratorial thread even suggests that Jackson's feud with music executives and his decision to speak out about corruption in the industry may have made him a threat to powerful allies of the Carters. Of course, no official link has ever been proven, but in this climate, that doesn't stop the questions from multiplying.
Let me know as you guys are coming in that you can hear me and see me. I'm pretty sure that you can. This is some exclusive tea that I got a little while back.
Could Beyoncé have used her position to cement dominance while others fell away? Could her rise have been protected not by raw talent alone, but by a network of unspoken loyalties? To many, that idea borders on heresy, but others are beginning to see the cracks. The meticulous branding, the lack of interviews, the clinical control over every appearance, every word, every move. Is it simply perfectionism or insulation? And yet, through all of this, Beyoncé says nothing. No denials, no statements, not even subtle messages through her usually symbolic visuals or lyrics. It's as if she's daring the world to keep wondering, knowing that no one dares speak her name in judgment, at least not publicly. But behind closed doors, even her most loyal defenders are beginning to ask, who exactly have we been idolizing? What many are now calling the Carter firewall didn't emerge overnight. It's been meticulously constructed over years of legal maneuvering, behind-the-scenes negotiations, and what some claim are outright manipulations of the justice system. In the ongoing case involving Rye Satwait, Jay-Z's alleged son, court records and investigative reports suggest a staggering pattern of obstruction. Ryer's team has accused Jay-Z's attorneys of exploiting jurisdiction loopholes, submitting misleading property records, and even pressuring judges to dismiss motions based on technicalities rather than fact. While these claims haven't yet resulted in criminal charges, they paint a picture of a man with more than just high-powered lawyers. Someone who may wield real influence over the legal landscape meant to hold him accountable.
This is not just about me. If I gotta fight for all of us, I will, but I won't let the court systems just walk over me. I won't let Jay-Z, and I won't let no one just walk over me and tell me something because y'all just saying this. I want the truth. And if we can't go to the Supreme Courts, the regular courts, to find out the truth, what are they here for?
Yeah, all right. We'll get to the legal things that you've been through, the battles. But before that,
Public records unearthed by watchdog journalists reveal a long trail of sealed documents, procedural dismissals, and cases shuffled between state lines until they quietly evaporated. In one instance, Jay-Z's legal team argued he shouldn't be compelled to take a paternity test in New Jersey because he didn't reside there, despite records tying him to property in the state. Even more troubling, the attorney representing him later admitted in court to having misspoken about that fact, a move some legal analysts argue borders on perjury. Yet nothing came of it. No sanctions, no follow-up. It's as if the machine corrected itself before anything could go public. That's led some to believe we're looking at something far more organized than just celebrity legal defense. Former court officials and insiders, some speaking anonymously, have alluded to a pattern of legal redirection, where cases involving Jay-Z seem to hit invisible walls at crucial moments. From last-minute document seals to inexplicable judge resignments, these incidents have sparked online speculation about whether his reach extends deeper into the judicial system than anyone anticipated. Not just privilege, but power, institutional power, the kind that doesn't beg for special treatment. It expects it.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
We can't ignore the implications. If Jay-Z's empire has been sustained by quietly suppressing inconvenient truths, then every court victory, every dropped case, every silent spot with a settlement or a missed hearing becomes part of a larger, more ominous legacy. This isn't just about protecting a brand. It's about controlling a narrative with surgical precision. And as Ramir's case regains traction thanks to a recent legal breakthrough, we may be witnessing the first real breach in that firewall. If the courts finally demand a DNA test, it won't just be about paternity. It'll be about whether the empire ever truly played by the rules. The stakes aren't limited to one man or one family. They touch on a deeper question of accountability in celebrity culture, how wealth and status can be weaponized not just for influence, but to erase consequences entirely. If Jay-Z has indeed spent years building a machine to rewrite reality in his favor, then we have to ask how many truths were buried in the process and how many more are still waiting to surface.
After that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
Because what if the most powerful woman in pop isn't a silent casualty of Jay-Z's scandal, but the silent architect of something far more complicated? And now, with Jay-Z's reputation in free fall and a paternity test threatening to peel back another layer, we're left with a terrifying possibility. That Beyoncé has always known more than she let on, that her memoir, delayed, Polish, strategic, may not be a cry for justice, but a final act of control. So here's the question we're all afraid to ask out loud. What if Beyoncé's silence isn't protection, it's guilt? And if that's true, what else is she hidden beneath the crown? We want to hear what you think. Could this be the beginning of Beyoncé's reckoning, or just another calculated move from a queen who always stays 10 steps ahead? Drop your thoughts below and let's dig in together. Until next time, stay sharp and don't blink. You never know who's watching.